This video is absolute treason, and I know that. It's why I wanted to talk about it here, because this is the kind of thing that gets people all up and upset. So, today we're going over onto dailyfaceoff.com. Yes, I did say the other day that I'm very happy that Frank Seravalli and the Daily Faceoff crew, they're back doing their thing, publishing articles, doing their radio show. Actually, no, it's not even a radio show. It's more like a web show. I think that's the best way to go out there and describe it. And we had ourselves, as a result, an article from yesterday going over 32 bold NHL predictions. Austin Matthews is going to sign the NHL's first ever max contract. Now, there are a few really interesting predictions and thoughts that are shared in this article over here, so over the next few days, I guess we might go out there and start exploring some of these topics and going over what exactly it is Seravalli is saying could happen and why this might be realistic or unrealistic or whatever. I mean, it's bold predictions, right? So not all of these are going to be too realistic, but there are 32 different conversations happening in this article, and as a result, that provides us with some pretty good video discussion fodder. Starting out with one of the predictions here happening in Seravalli's world of NHL action for 2022-2023. I have to preface this, though, this entire conversation might be seen as nightmare fuel for fans of the Detroit Red Wings, so buckle up, put on your seatbelts, and be prepared to be thrown for a loop. Bold prediction number 17 by Frank Seravalli on the article. By the way, link in the description if you want to go ahead and read the entire thing. With all eyes on Patrick Kane, Detroit Red Wings captain Dylan Larkin will be traded before the March 3rd trade deadline. Larkin is quietly entering the final year of his deal and is a pending UFA. He holds a no-trade clause, but that could be a big change for a Michigan kid who has played almost exclusively in the Detroit area his entire life. That's it. That's all it says. There are 32 different things in here, so he had to keep the thoughts short. Haha, 32 thoughts, predictions, I mean. But when it comes to Dylan Larkin, pretty much what Seravalli is saying, that when Patrick Kane goes out there and gets traded, because he also predicts elsewhere in the article that Patrick Kane is going to be a Ranger, because other teams are going to be in the market for guys like Patrick Kane, once the Rangers get Kane, they might say, darn it, man, we missed out on Kane. Okay, well, who else is available? Hey, Dylan Larkin's there. Why not try his services instead? And because of the shrapnel from the Kane trade, you have yourselves an extended interest in other players, and Dylan Larkin could be included in that pot. It is a really interesting idea, though, going out there and discussing the hypothetical possibility of Larkin actually getting traded from the Wings. And at first glance, it looks like an absolutely crazy idea, because this is Steve Yzerman we're talking about here. Do you think Steve would actually go out there and trade away the team's captain? Would he be interested in going in a different direction with the leadership core of this team after Larkin has been here since, 2015? I mean, he's been a pretty good player the entire time as well. He was under a point per game last year, 69 points in 79 games played. And at the same time, the article does state that Larkin has played in the Michigan area his entire life. He was with the Michigan Wolverines, he was with Bell Tire, he was with the NTDP, everything here, it's all Michigan. So, would one even be willing to fathom the possibility that Dylan Larkin himself would waive his no-trade clause, that in which he has, only for this season, to go to some other team to end off his $6.1 million AAV contract, which was given to him back in 2018? Who knows? I mean, obviously Dylan Larkin is committed to Michigan and the Red Wings have been committed to him, so I mean, the article, I guess it's called Bold Predictions for a reason, isn't it? But at the same time, if you wanted to go out there and realistically try to narrate an idea that says, okay, Dylan Larkin is going to get traded, what are the possibilities, why would this occur, and what other extenuating circumstances might go out there and fulfill themselves here if you wanted to go for a best-case scenario sort of move? Because if Dylan Larkin is playing on a Red Wings team that is out of the wild card and very clearly not going to catch up with the wild card spot by the time March rolls around, and if they say, hey, Dylan, you have the choice, do you want to go out there and play for a playoff team? We haven't signed you to a contract yet, hypothetically speaking. Of course, if he signs a contract tomorrow, then boom, this entire video idea is probably shut down. But let's say that for a playoff rental team, Dylan Larkin is indeed acquired. Firstly, I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, best case scenario, Dylan Larkin does not re-sign with that team that he gets traded to and he comes back to Detroit. Imagine if the Red Wings go out there and get themselves the Claude Giroux treatment. What the Florida Panthers ended up giving over to Philadelphia to get Claude Giroux for a few weeks in the regular season and a few playoff games because they lost in the second round. But that was a pretty beefy package. I mean, I know I made the video saying that the Flyers got fleeced because Claude Giroux was an absolute superstar, but at the end of the day, he just wanted to go to one team, and there was no real opportunity for the Flyers to have any negotiating power, so the fact that they still got Owen Tippett and a first-round pick and the third, it's kind of okay. I mean, sure, the Flyers also had to give up a few prospects, which makes it a lot more weird. But at the same time, if Dylan Larkin goes over for, let's just remove all the extra prospects in the third, let's just say a first-round pick and another really good prospect, akin to a Florida Panthers first and Owen Tippett. If that's what Claude Giroux got, what can Dylan Larkin get? Maybe something in that same territory, because I think in the short term, Dylan Larkin definitely is as effective, if not maybe even a tad more than what Claude Giroux is right now. So let's say the Red Wings get a first and a prospect, and then Dylan Larkin comes back. He pulls the Antoine Vermette. He pulls the Justin Braun. Both these players traded away from their teams at the trade deadline, went on a playoff run with their new team, and then they came back in the offseason to their former squads. With Vermette, it was done with Arizona to Chicago, back to Arizona in 2015? I don't remember. And then with Justin Braun, it was actually done earlier this year. He went from Philly to New York to Philly, so kind of cool to see that go down. If Claude Giroux went back home to Ottawa, what says that Dylan Larkin can't go back over to Detroit should he actually get sent away and become a free agent at the end of the day? I don't know. I'm just going out there and wishfully thinking about the best case scenario here because I did see that argument pop up a few times in the conversations I was reading on social media about this entire thing. But furthermore, I mean, the other prevailing idea I've seen has mostly been, okay, well, I mean, it's not going to happen. Dylan Larkin's not going to get traded. But if he does, then he would only really get traded to a team that's better than Detroit. He'd get traded to a team that's going to go far in the playoffs, hopefully, and a lot of Wings fans can't go out there and say they'll cheer against him, right? Even if he gets traded to Colorado. I don't know how that's going to work, but if it does happen, you're going to be cheering for Larkin, cheering for the Red Wings' former captain to go out there and do some damage in a territory that he hasn't been a part of since 2016 as a Red Wings rookie, I believe, against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think that was correct, right? I don't know. Actually, yeah, no, it was Tampa Bay. We made a video about that series all the way back when it happened. Yeah, no way. This is the exact video I'm talking about. Look at that 200 views right there, eh? That's kind of a throwback. But that was the first time Larkin was in the playoffs, and he hasn't been there since. The Red Wings ran through a rebuild in that time span, and he was there the whole time. So maybe he does deserve to get rewarded, and if the NHL trade market goes in the way that Seravalli is saying it is, Larkin very well could be a conversation or two on the market. It's just, obviously you're going to have to convince Stevie Y to do it, and who really knows what he has up his sleeve. He's got 2, 3, 4, 5 aces up there that we haven't even thought about yet, that he might just be willing to spin into gold. If he does do the entire thing, though, trade Larkin away to a playoff team, Larkin comes back in Detroit in the offseason, then that would be an absolute massive win, because if Detroit is able to walk away with all the assets, then, hey, house always wins, doesn't it? Talk in the comments, though, all your thoughts about this prediction over here. How bold do you think it really is? How realistic do you think it is? How much do you think Larkin is worth if he does get traded sometime in March? He's worth a lot more now than he is back then, because, of course, trade deadline rentals versus a full season's worth of play. Actually, you could factor in injuries, too. I don't really know then if that is the case. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How much do you think this is going to happen versus not? I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj 99, and bye.